Hi, this is Moritz. In this episode, I would like to discuss 5 artist books that have been sooner or later completed by its author with another volume, in some of the cases decades later. These aren't re-editions, language versions, or book series, but rather altered complements, counterparts, or surrogates. The first example of 2 complementary books not only represents an inevitable source, but embodies on top the very nature of a so-called doublure. The Belgian artist Conrad de Dobelaere realized in 2011 and 2015 2 similar brochures. Doublure Catalogue d'Exposition, published by Édition Christophe David Thierry in Paris, with 16 pages in 300 copies, and Doublure Exhibited Catalogues, published by Projecte SD in Barcelona in 2015, 14 pages in only 50 copies. The first book, written in French, accompanied his small exhibition Doublure, une sélection de livres d'art et d'architecture, held in Paris, and lists 50 titles of art and architecture books, together with their second print runs, re-editions, language versions, or sequels, in total 115 volumes. These are catalogues, monographs, and artist books reaching from Carl-André and Marcel Brothars to Georges Vantongerlo and Christopher Williams. The back covers has an accordion flap with recto verso 2 images that show the ensemble of books and doubles in 2 different settings. De Dobelaere rigorously pursued his investigation on what he calls doublure and incorporated this growing book collection in 2015 in a sculpture titled Transforming Them into Analogies. This unique piece, a custom-made wooden desk designed by the artist, consisted finally of 68 different titles with a total of 164 books. The gallery Projected SD in Barcelona published for the inaugural presentation of the sculpture an updated English version of the new inventory, so to speak, a doublure of the doublures. That, as such, is an essential source regarding books and their twin titles. The following book is the only one that also figures in Dobelaire's inventory, and is a telling example for a book and its counterpart. In many ways, the publication There, Here, Then, There by British artist Simon Starling manifests the ambiguity of a double. The 2 books, each with 144 pages and tied together with a banderole, pretend to be identical. They were published on the occasion of 2 solo exhibitions that took simultaneously place in 2010 at 2 French art centres, the Macval in the outskirts of Paris and Parc Saint-Léger in the Bourgogne. The first venue presented a selection of 11 works made between 1997 and 2009, the other a new produced site-specific installation. One of these 11 works was Les Maquettes en Blanc from 2009 that consisted of 2 equal showcases shown for the first time. One case displayed all the 26 catalogues and artist books that Simon Starling has realized between 1995 and 2009, the other all its dummies, the so-called Maquettes en Blanc, thus unprinted blank books that graphic designers and printers often generate in the process of bookmaking. The 2-volume catalogue mimics this very phenomenon. One of them is entirely blank, the other printed in full color. The latter includes, next to essay and interview that run in parallel in 2 languages on opposite pages, and installation views of all exhibited works, throughout the book as well spread images from both the catalogues and the dummies. However, the nicest and most telling detail appears on the monochrome brownish cardboard covers. While the dummy version includes on the lower edge a pasted sticker with client reference, Simon Starling, and paper specifications for cover and book block. The cover of the catalogue illustrates that very dummy in a photographic representation, hence with the sticker now printed and the cardboard cover as an image. The two books by Dutch artist Willem Orebeek were made within a time span of 15 years. The first, One or Many, published by Rotterdam's Museum Boijmans van Beuningen in 1988, is a classical handsome exhibition catalogue of 36 pages that documents the artist's early lithographic work. The second, Blackout, One or Many, self-published by the artist in 2003, is a rebooted and modified version of the Boijmans catalogue made in only one copy. Being interested in mass media and thus reproduction techniques, Orebeek's work could be generally described as a post-pop conceptual tautological spin. Inherent to printing, he often repeated or reprinted the same motifs and experimented with multi-layered patterns that led over time to his most iconic series, the so-called blackout prints. These are found printed matters, posters, cards, advertisements, or announcements that he completely overprinted with a layer of solid black ink. What could be misunderstood as an act of refusal, denial, or censorship is above all an endorsement of the found document. On closer inspection, the extra black surface reveals its layers underneath and discloses image or information in such a way that the apparently hidden becomes even more visible, if not relevant. In that perspective, Blackout, One or Many not only embodies a revision of the artist's own past and career, but also an update and enhancement. Both the Uncanny books by Polish artist Piotr Uklanski were released by the same publisher, Patrick Frey in Zurich. The Nazis, back in 1992, and Real Nazis, 25 years later, in 2017. The Nazis shows a total of 164 full-color film stills, posters and set cards of well-known actors impersonating men with menacing gazes or cynical and tortured smiles. They all wear uniforms adorned with swastikas, imperial eagles, or skulls, some of them with monocles or black-eyed patches. The publisher resumed the content most adequately. It's about the power of costumes and the costumes of power. It's not about Nazis, but about Hollywood Nazis and their poses of evil. A list at the end of the book references all the image sources, actors and film titles, most of them from the 1950s to 1980s. Robert Duvall in The Eagle Has Landed, Richard Burton in Massacre in Rome, Marlon Brando in The Young Lions, Peter Cushing in Die Standarte, or Robert Downey Jr. in Rented Lips, among many others. Its counterpart, Real Nazis, juxtaposes the impersonated Nazis with real ones, the mock-up iconography of Hollywood with the disturbing propaganda imagery of the Third Reich. In retrospect, the hilarious masquerade of mainstream visual culture became a sad footnote to the brutal historical past. As a distinct accusation, the photo credits in Real Nazis are set right below each portrait with their full name, military rank, and life data. Indeed, a thought-provoking pair of books that reminds us never to forget what really happened. The last example in this series of twin books consists actually of three titles. The two so-called Hotel books by Martin Kippenberger, published in 1992 and 1995, and their posthumously released counterpart, No Drawing, No Cry, from the year 2000, all of them published by Walter Koenig in Cologne. The first two with their repetitive titles Hotel Hotel and Hotel Hotel Hotel, consist of drawings and scribbles made by the artist on stationery from hundreds of hotels all over the world. From the Imperial in Tokyo, Chateau Marmont in Hollywood, the Intercontinental in Abu Dhabi, die Krone in Assmannshausen, and many more. Kippenberger lived, allegedly, for weeks or even months in hotels, but didn't stay at all of them whose notepaper he used, often picking it up at given occasions. Printed on different, randomly mixed paper stocks, both the books look similar, one containing 246 drawings, the other 313. The two colors used on their covers for title and board, pale blue and orange, are mutually inverted. The cover of No Drawing, No Cry appears in olive green, thus the result of mixing the two colors of the previous books. Most significantly, this volume doesn't include any drawing by Kippenberger at all, and only reproduces empty hotel letterheads with logo and directions. However, no rule without exception. No Drawing, No Cry does contain one single drawing, a rubbing from the multiple Kippenselzer, referring to the pharmaceutical Alka-Seltzer, and includes on top three private stationaries of friends, the Swiss artists John Armleder and Sylvie Fleury, and the Austrian photographer Elfie Semotan. Following the death of the artist in 1997 and released as a tribute, this third volume of Kippenberger's signature work remains without signature. That's it for now regarding some books and their twins. Thanks for watching.